Lil Nas X has been in the news a lot over the last week or so because of backlash he's been receiving from his new song, music video, and shoes. The rapper made a huge drop releasing a bunch of new content that people are interpreting as quite controversial because of his imagery, and the internet is trying to cancel him for it. Because he's been making so many waves in the media lately, we might as well start a conversation about it, so let's talk about Lil Nas X. Before we can get into the controversy he's been facing, we first have to get into who Lil Nas X is and get into a bit of his backstory. Lil Nas X, whose real name is Montero Lamar Hill, was born in Lithia Springs, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta on April 9th, 1999. At the age of 6, his parents got divorced, and at the age of 9, he moved in with his dad in a city north of Atlanta. Nas has said that he is grateful that he was able to move away from the housing project he lived in with his mom because he was afraid that if he had stayed, he would have fallen into the wrong crowd. Growing up, he turned to the internet, making memes and communicating with others online as he recalled growing up alone. His love for the internet came into play later on when he started to launch his music career, but we'll get into that later. His teenage years were difficult as he struggled with his sexuality. Nas opened up about it, saying that for years he wished that it was just a phase, but around the age of 16 or 17, he decided to accept this part of himself. He went on to graduate from Lithia Springs High School in 2017 and attended the University of West Georgia for a year, making him the first one in his family to get to college. Nas dropped out after a year to pursue his music career. During this time, he was in a difficult living situation and had no money, but he was determined to follow his passion for music and tried promoting it in the best way he knew. He started making memes using his songs, particularly his song Old Town Road, which ended up blowing up on TikTok. The platform's Yeehaw challenge helped the song blow up to the point where he started receiving offers from music labels. Nas described the first few offers he received as terrible, but eventually he was contacted by Columbia Records, who offered him a quote, great deal offer. He recalled how he walked into the Columbia Records office for the first time, seeing a sign welcoming him to the label. With the help of Columbia Records, he was able to release the Old Town Road remix with Billy Ray Cyrus and then his EP Panini. With the release of Panini, the EP contained a song called Closure, which was essentially his coming out, but he officially came out on the last day of Pride Month in June 2019. Nas recalled how after he came out, he faced a lot of praise, but also a lot of scrutiny as well, saying that he gained new fans because of his coming out, but that he also lost a lot of them as well. Though this was a very difficult time for him, he pushed through and now leans more into his identity to express himself more, making him a role model for a lot of members of the Black queer community. Before we go any further, I'd like to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also head on over to my gaming channel, Viper Girl, if that's something that you would be interested in, and go subscribe while you're there. I've got some pretty cool series going on over there, so go check them out. Lil Nas X became a viral sensation thanks to his internet marketing, but also his dedication. Nas opened up about his humble beginnings, saying that the song that made him famous, Old Town Road, was created using a beat that he bought anonymously on an online store from a Dutch producer for $30. The rapper also said that he would record his songs at a humble Atlanta recording studio on their $20 Tuesdays, taking less than an hour to record his tracks. Once he finalized Old Town Road, he took to the internet for free promotion and started making memes using the song. Nas says that he estimates he made around 100 memes promoting his song. Seems like a lot, but it was clearly worth it. The song, like I said, was picked up on TikTok and was used as part of the Yeehaw challenge, and these videos were viewed millions of times, contributing to Nas's massive success. The song was popular amongst younger audiences because of the simplicity of the lyrics, the beat, and because it was easy to sing along to. Because of the song's success, Old Town Road debuted at number 83 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts, later climbing to number 1, and it was also featured on the Hot Country Songs chart before it was controversially removed, with Billboard saying, quote, when determining genres, a few factors are examined, but first and foremost, a musical composition. While Old Town Road incorporates references to country and cowboy imagery, it does not embrace enough elements of today's country music to chart in its current version. This was the first controversy that Nas faced as an artist because a debate began over which category his music belonged in. Some people called the song's removal racist, and that debate grew even larger when Wrangler announced a collection with Lil Nas X. Following the announcement of this collaboration, some customers threatened to boycott the clothing company, and this sparked the conversation of racism in country music culture. But as we all know, this isn't the only time Nas's music has sparked controversy. On March 26, 2021, Lil Nas X released his long-awaited song Matero, Call Me By Your Name, and both the song and subsequent music video was hit with a lot of backlash. The song itself features themes of religion and gay culture, as Nas revealed that the song was about a man he met in the middle of 2020 who is living a lifestyle of partying and using substances. For a lot of people in the gay community, this song was seen as an anthem, if you will, for being, quote, unabashedly queer. A lot of people pointed out that this song marked a turning point in music for queer artists because of how honest and open Nas was about his sexuality in the song, drawing parallels to other LGBT artists who haven't necessarily sung about their sexualities in the way that Lil Nas X has. But though this song was praised by many, others have picked it apart and has caused quite a stir surrounding its themes. The music video in particular is where many people find the issues, as it has a biblical theme. It is interpreted as a retelling of the story of Adam and Eve, and plays on the struggle that a lot of queer people have had to deal with in regards to religion being an oppressive force in the lives of a lot of members of the queer community. Nas's video shows imagery of being tormented by different versions of himself, alluding to the internal struggle that he and many others face when coming to terms with their sexuality and navigating themselves through their religion. The video is provocative on purpose, but a lot of people say that it promotes Satanism. The argument against this idea is that the rapper isn't promoting Satanism, he is rather rejecting the idea of heaven and hell altogether by playing with his imagery with CGI and lap dances. Louis Vertel, co-host of the podcast Keep It, said, quote, "The queerest thing about Lil Nas X's video isn't going to hell, it's the rejection of heaven's invitation." The whole message behind the video was rejecting this good versus evil idea and to just live your life in a way that works for you. Many people have claimed that Nas's video is too inappropriate for audiences, especially younger ones, with parents bashing the rapper for using, quote, destructive imagery. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem tweeted in response to this backlash that Nas has been receiving, where she said, quote, "Our kids are being told that this kind of product is not only okay, it's exclusive. But do you know what's more exclusive? Their God-given eternal soul. We are in a fight for the soul of our nation. We need to fight hard and we need to fight smart. We have to win." This idea that Montero is promoting Satanism has also contributed to the recall of Satanic Panic, a movement, if you will, that sees people banning songs because of their imagery to satanic or occult practices. This was a huge thing in the mid-80s when a list was published in a parenting resource that compiled a number of songs that posed a threat to, quote, susceptible listeners. But the song and music video aren't the only things being criticized for their imagery at the moment. With the release of his music video, Nas also collaborated with a streetwear company called Mschf to release a collection of exclusive shoes, aptly called Satan shoes, that sold for just over $1,000 US. These shoes not only have a devil theme to them, featuring a gold pentagram charm, a black and red color palette, and a Bible verse from the Gospel of Luke that says, quote, "I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven." But there were only 666 pairs that were made in reference to the so-called devil numbers. One part of these shoes that made most people angry was the fact that they were made with, quote, "actual blood from about 6 Mschf employees." A single drop of human blood mixed with some ink is found in an air bubble in the sneaker's sole. This shoe sold out in less than a minute, but although they received a lot of support, many others criticized this collaboration. Other than its satanic imagery, the other aspect of these shoes that received a lot of backlash was its affiliation with Nike. Since these shoes are a, quote, unauthorized redesign of the Air Max 97s, this caused Nike to issue a lawsuit against the makers of the Satan shoe for trademark infringement. Nike had to release a statement telling people that they are not affiliated with Lil Nas X or the shoes as a result of the backlash they were facing. A number of people were threatening to boycott the company, and some said that they would burn their Nike shoes in protest to this collaboration, so Nike had to shut all of that down before things got out of hand. Now Lil Nas X is still facing backlash for his content, as some have dubbed it the, quote, new WAP, in reference to the backlash that Cardi B faced last year with the release of her song WAP. Do you think that this backlash is warranted, or do you think this is all unnecessary and getting out of hand? Nas is very vocal about being unapologetically himself and for being a role model. At the beginning of this year, Nas released a children's book called C is for Country, where a young black cowboy and his horse Panini go on an adventure-filled ride through the alphabet, showcasing elements of country culture as well as loving family dynamics and the spirit of individuality. Nas is trying to pave the way for new generations to be able to live in a more inclusive world, and so maybe his Montero music video breaking down the dichotomy of heaven and hell, and showing people it's okay to be themselves no matter what was just one of the ways that he's trying to make changes in the world. It was certainly a bold move, but was it too bold? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. But speaking of comments, let's read out some of yours from my last video titled Bad Baby Abused at Dr. Phil's Ranch. J Fox says, sounds like Paris Hilton's story. Unfortunately, it does, and it shouldn't. I know that kind of sounds weird, but like, these things should not be happening. So there should never be any similarities to this story. Like, we need to just completely shut this down so that we don't have any more people coming forward with horrible instances like this. Like, why is the world like this, guys? We have to do better. Paige Millet says, I don't get why Dr. Phil is even allowed to do stuff like this. He doesn't even have an active license. True, and he's also not a doctor. Why do we call him Dr. Phil if he doesn't even have a doctorate? Like, where did this come from? Why are we using this man as a credible source to help people? Like, we gotta get something straight here. Brittany Gabao says, how the heck are these places a facility to help people and especially children for long periods of time are less regulated than burger joints that pay minimum wage? Retweet. Oh my gosh, I saw this comment and was like, thank you. Like, I looked into these places, and the fact that you can just sign a couple papers and make your own ranch, so to speak, like, that's insane to me. Something needs to be done so we can actually protect people and actually rehabilitate people without them having traumatic experiences. Because that's horrible. Nobody deserves to ever go through something like that. Anyways, thanks for your comments, guys, and thank you so much for tuning into this video. I've been your host, Riri, and until next time, stay safe, make good choices, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.